Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. It always seems like there's just not enough time in the day. And when we're running around trying to get everything done, let's be real, thinking about what we're putting into our bodies sometimes takes a back seat.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There are just so many things vying for our attention these days. It's easy for healthy eating to kind of slip down the priority list.
Right. So we thought it would be really interesting to explore tools and strategies that can actually help us simplify that process. Make it a little bit easier to make those healthy choices.
I think that's something we could all benefit from.
For sure. So today we're going to take a deep dive into the idea of using a journal notebook, an actual physical journal, as a way to kind of gain control over our eating habits. We're drawing a lot of our insights from looking at the Lestallion Journal.
Yeah, it's specifically designed with healthy eating in mind,
Hmm.
and it's sparking some really interesting conversations about how journaling can actually make a difference.
Yeah, because we're not just talking about a product here, right? We're talking about the principles behind using a journal as a tool, a system for better eating.
Exactly. And I think that's important because the challenges we're talking about are so universal. I mean, how many times have you started the week with the best intentions to track your meals, and then life just happens?
Oh, all the time. Or, you find yourself reaching for that bag of chips when work gets crazy.
Right. Or maybe skipping meals altogether because you're just too busy.
Yeah. And then there's the whole emotional eating thing. Comfort food when you're stressed or feeling down.
And don't even get me started on portion sizes. It's like, what does a serving of pasta even look like anymore?
Totally. And then trying to figure out the nutritional value of everything, that's another layer of complexity.
It's like you need a degree in nutrition just to make a sandwich.
Right. And finding the time to meal prep, to actually cook healthy meals, that can feel like a whole other job in itself.
It definitely can.
Okay, so how does simply writing things down in a journal help us with all of that? I mean, what's the magic there?
Well, it's not exactly magic, but it's pretty powerful. When you start recording what you eat and when, you start to see patterns you might not have even realized were there.
Oh, like what?
Well, maybe you discover you always reach for a sugary snack around 3 p.m. because your energy dips after lunch. Or maybe you notice you eat way more on weekends. Or, that you basically forget to eat vegetables during the week. Things like that.
So it's like you're bringing those unconscious eating habits to the surface,
Yep.
making them visible.
Exactly. And that awareness is the first step towards making any kind of change. It's not just about recording, it's about becoming more mindful, more intentional about what you're putting into your body.
Because you know you're going to have to write it down later.
Right. It makes you pause, think before you automatically grab that second cookie or whatever.
Yeah,
It takes eating from something mindless to something more deliberate.
I can see how that would be helpful. And we've been looking at this Lestallion Journal, and it really seems designed to support that kind of intentionality. What are some of the features that make it so useful for this?
Well, for starters, the paper itself is really nice. They use this thick 120 GSM ivory paper. It's smooth and feels great to write on.
Okay. But what does that have to do with healthy eating?
Think about it. If you enjoy the actual act of writing in the journal, you're more likely to use it consistently. And with this thick paper, the ink doesn't bleed through, so it stays neat and clean. It just makes the whole experience more pleasant.
That makes sense. A little thing, but it can make a big difference. What else?
I really like that it has a built-in table of contents and numbered pages.
How does that come in handy?
It makes it super easy to stay organized and go back and look at past entries. Say you want to see what you were eating a month ago. With those features, you can flip right to that section.
So it's easy to spot patterns and trends over time?
Exactly. Like, are you always skipping breakfast? Are you getting enough protein? The journal becomes this organized record of your eating habits that you can actually use to make changes.
Interesting. And it's not just line pages, right?
Nope. It's got these dashed line pages, which I think are brilliant. They give you just enough structure to keep your writing neat, but you can also use them to create different layouts.
Oh, I like that.
So, you can make columns to track calories or macros. You could even do little sketches of your meals if you wanted to.
Keep it visual.
Right. It's adaptable, so it can work with however you like to journal.
And even the lines themselves are kind of specific.
Yeah, they're 7.5 millimeters wide, which is apparently the sweet spot for comfortable and legible writing.
So no excuses about messy handwriting.
Exactly. And the whole design of the journal is really well thought out. It's got this soft, faux leather cover that makes it durable and easy to carry around. Plus, it has a little pocket in the back, perfect for storing recipe cards or notes.
So it's really designed for everyday use.
Definitely. They really considered all the practical aspects of actually keeping a food journal.
So beyond the specific features of the Lestallion Journal, what are the core benefits of consistently journaling about your food?
Well, the biggest one is accountability.
Hmm.
When you know you're going to be writing down everything you eat, it makes you think twice about that extra slice of pizza.
So it's like having a little food conscience right there on the page.
Exactly. And it can be a really powerful tool for setting and tracking goals, whether you're trying to drink more water, eat more veggies, cut back on sugar, whatever. Writing down your goals in the journal and then tracking your progress can help you stay on track. You can break down those big, overwhelming goals into smaller, more manageable steps.
I like that. It's like having a roadmap. And what about prompts? How do those fit into this whole thing?
Oh, prompts are great. They encourage you to go beyond just listing what you ate and actually think about how your food makes you feel.
Give me an example.
So, instead of just writing chicken salad for lunch, you might also ask yourself, how did I feel after eating this? Or what were my energy levels like an hour later? You start to connect the dots between what you're eating and how it's impacting you, both physically and emotionally. You start to develop a deeper understanding of your relationship with food. And over time, you might even start to identify those emotional triggers that lead to unhealthy eating habits.
Like reaching for a plate of ice cream after a stressful day.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Once you can recognize those patterns, you can start to develop healthier coping mechanisms.
That's so important. This reminds me of a friend of mine, Sarah. She was trying to eat better, but was having a hard time. She'd do great during the day, but then in the evenings, she'd just kind of lose it. She'd overeat and then feel terrible about it.
That's a classic cycle a lot of people struggle with.
Right. So she decided to try using a journal. Actually, it was a Lestallion journal. She said she liked how it looked and felt, and that the dashed lines made it easy for her to organize her entries. But what really clicked for her was when she started writing down how she was feeling in the evenings alongside what she was eating. She realized that her overeating was almost always tied to feeling stressed or lonely after a long day at work. And because the journal was so organized with the numbered pages, she could easily flip back and see this pattern repeating week after week. It really hit home for her.
That's a great example of how powerful that simple act of reflection can be.
Yeah.
It's not just about the food itself, it's about the emotions and situations that are driving our choices.
Yeah.
And those numbered pages, they make such a difference in helping you see those connections.
Exactly. It's about uncovering those deeper patterns. So for someone listening who's thinking, okay, this sounds interesting, but how do I actually make food journaling a regular habit? What are your top tips?
Well, first of all, be consistent. Try to log your meals and snacks as close to the time you eat them as possible.
Fresh in your mind.
Yeah, exactly. Don't just jot down, like, sandwich. Be specific. What kind of sandwich? What was in it? How much did you eat? It's those details that paint the full picture.
Good point.
And don't just track your food. Track your mood, your energy levels, even how well you sleep. You might be surprised by the connections you start to see.
Right. It's about seeing the bigger picture.
And then use the journal to plan ahead. Use it to make your meal plans for the week, to create your grocery list. That way, you're setting yourself up for success before you even step foot in the kitchen.
Great tip.
And then, maybe most importantly, actually review your entries regularly. Like once a week, sit down and look back at what you've written. Look for patterns, celebrate your wins, and figure out where you could do better.
Make those adjustments.
Exactly. And have fun with it. Use color coding to highlight different things. Use sticky notes to add reminders or motivational quotes. Experiment with different layouts. The more you personalize your journal, the more you'll enjoy using it.
You mentioned color coding. I know some people who color code their water intake or how many servings of fruits and veggies they eat each day. It's a visual way to track progress.
That's a great idea. And the beauty of those dashed line pages is that they give you the freedom to play around with different styles. Some people like making lists, some like more visual layouts, whatever works for you.
It's all about finding what works for you. Now, what about when things don't go perfectly? Like, what if you forget to make an entry or you have a day where you just eat everything in sight? How do you get back on track without getting discouraged?
Everyone slips up. It's normal. Don't beat yourself up about it. The most important thing is to just get back to journaling with your next meal. Maybe set a reminder on your phone to help you stay consistent.
A little nudge.
Exactly. And if you have a day where you go off the rails, remember, it's just one day. It doesn't ruin everything. Don't let it derail your whole journey. Instead of dwelling on the guilt, use your journal to figure out what happened, what triggered those unhealthy choices. How could you handle a similar situation differently next time?
So it's a learning experience, not a punishment.
Precisely. And having a nice journal like the Lestallion we've been talking about can actually help with that, because when the journal itself is something you enjoy using, you're more likely to keep coming back to it, even when things get tough.
It's like having a little bit of encouragement built into the tool itself.
Yeah.
So, big picture, what kind of positive changes can someone expect to see if they make food journaling a regular practice?
Over time, you'll start to develop a much clearer understanding of your own personal eating habits and how they're impacting your health and well-being. You'll become more attuned to your body's signals so you can tell the difference between real hunger and emotional cravings. And that awareness will empower you to make healthier choices more consistently.
More mindful choices.
Exactly. Whether you're working on portion control, eating more nutrient-rich foods, or just improving your relationship with food overall, journaling can help you get there.
And it's not just about the physical stuff either.
Right. No, not at all. The act of writing itself can be incredibly therapeutic. It can help reduce stress and boost your overall well-being. And having a well-designed journal, like the Lestallion, with its customizable dashed lines and built-in table of contents, can make that whole process a lot easier and more enjoyable.
It's about setting yourself up for success.
Exactly.
So, to sum it all up, it sounds like a journal, especially one that's well-designed, like the Lestallion we've been discussing, can be a really powerful tool for taking control of your health journey.
It's all about becoming more aware, more intentional, and making choices that support your goals.
It's about creating a system that works for you, not against you.
I like that. A system that works for you.
So for those of you listening, I want you to think about this. What's one small step you could take today to become more aware of your own eating habits? Maybe it's just writing down what you have for your next meal or how you feel after you eat it. You could even just use a scrap of paper. But what if that simple act was the start of something bigger? What patterns might you uncover if you start paying closer attention to your relationship with food? That's something to ponder. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Thanks, everyone.